guys, welcome back. Okay, so I'm excited for today's reading because I was sent a gift from a good friend of mine who makes these beautiful oracle decks. She's been doing this for many years now. I remember helping her promote her very first deck, probably like in 2015. Her name is Christabel Jessica, and she sent me these two gorgeous decks. So I haven't read the book. I don't know what they mean, but they're beautiful. One is called The Goddess Within Oracle, and the other, her new deck, is called the Divine Masculine Healing Oracle. We've got the feminine and the masculine energy here, which is amazing. And I do have like a discount code for each of these. She sent me a little code for you guys if you want to get a deck and support her. You know, she is a small business, she's an artist, and you know, she collabs with an artist to do the art on the deck, and she creates everything. The idea, the booklet, everything. So she's amazing, and I'm so excited to use these. So we'll get there. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, no, I'm excited because I've been looking for, I'm very picky and I don't have a lot of decks. I got rid of most of mine, and I've been looking for a new deck for over a year. There is one that I want, but it was on back order. Like there's a wait list for it, but it'll be back. So I'll get that one eventually. But I'm so excited because the cards come in divine timing, and her newest deck is a masculine deck, and I've been doing a lot of men's work, particularly this year. So yeah, it just feels like the right time to integrate the masculine. With all that said, let's see what the tarot wants to tell us today. So I'm gonna get 3 cards. No, I'm actually gonna just get, a challenge card. I lied. Challenge card and an advice card, and let's see what's under the deck. Well, here's our friend, the King of Cups. Okay, the King of Cups is underneath the deck. What's under that? Okay, the 10 of Cups and the Empress, and then Death and the World. Wow. Woo. Okay, this is really positive. We'll see what else is here, but these are all upright. Like, I'm just going to show you all of these cards are like in the upright, which feels so good. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3 major arcana here. The King of Cups is like the ultimate in like loving, intuitive, sensitive. It's like the man that you desire to be in partnership with, but he's like emotionally intelligent and available in the upright. No one's perfect, but like this is, I love to see these cards upright because it's feeling much more balanced actually, even though sometimes I think like in the physical, like what we're seeing isn't the full picture. Like sometimes what we see is part of things, or it's like part of the healing process, and then like the deeper energetic, we have to like read the energy sometimes of a situation and just really, and I'm not saying to be delusional, I'm saying use your intuition and understand that sometimes there's much deeper levels of connection happening that don't always look so obvious at first glance, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening. So, okay, so that's that masculine energy. And then we're literally getting like, this is like my happily ever after card. Again, let's not be delusional. Everybody has issues. Like there is really no such thing. Like, right? Everybody's got something. But this is a card about happiness, like happy family, or like the joy that you're sharing with somebody else, with others. Because it's like a couple with like 2 kids on here. So to me, this is always a sign of like a happy family life. This is underneath the deck. This is like in the subconscious, or sort of what's around, what's manifesting. Then we literally have this beautiful Empress card, which is all of the queens combined. It's like the ultimate divine feminine energy. And it's not in the distortion, it's actually upright. And then we're getting the end, a deep transformation that's happening, and a cycle about to end. It feels right because my latest readings have been about a lot of healing happening with this, a lot of emotional healing, a lot of like also like financial issues. But remember, like sometimes financial issues are just a symptom of an emotional issue. Like everything is interconnected, right? I mean, I believe that. So that's what's underneath the deck, but we'll keep King of Cups there as like the first card. Okay, the challenge is the Devil. Yeah, because the challenge is to get out of whatever the unhealthy pattern, connection, addiction, behavior. We'll clarify this, but this does feel like the challenge. It feels like it's purging Again, or codependency. Look, I've talked about this recently because it's been a pattern for people for many, many years where like you are in a connection or you're seeking love, but you're not seeking it from a place of feeling whole. You're seeking it from a feeling of incompleteness. Like you're looking for something else to fill you, to fill the void, and it doesn't work like that. And also in like a true codependent relationship, there could be alcohol abuse, drug abuse, pill popping, or something else where there's like a caretaker enabler dynamic going on. Sometimes both people are addicts, and it's a big self-abandonment wound, you know? It manifests in relationship as like a relationship addiction, basically. So but this could also be other types of just behavioral patterns, not chemical or substance related, that are keeping you stuck. So we'll clarify that. Actually, before I get the advice card, let's clarify. We'll pull out King of Cups. Again, remember, all those cards under the deck are upright, which feels like you're closer than you might think to this resolving itself, but it is a challenge right now. So it could be getting out of an unhealthy behavior, like maybe you need to stop, maybe you need to cut the drinking so much, or you need to get sober completely, or you need to leave a relationship that's like codependent like this or enmeshed. Let's see, what's this devil about? Two of Swords reverse. You could be not making a decision yet, or you could know that it actually is time to make a decision. Let's see. Ooh, Queen of Swords reversed. This is very difficult feminine energy. This would be a very cold, calculated, probably air sign, like Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Doesn't have to be that sign, but it could be. And this is part of the problem. Not to vilify someone, but to say like this person is in the reverse. Notice how the King of Cups is upright, but the Queen of Swords is in the reverse. So this can be a person who's very, it could be like if this is like a relationship, for example, it could be the person that like, I don't want to see is like the more unhealthy person. I want to say maybe it's the person who's maybe a little less evolved, or the person who's clinging onto it and really doesn't want it to end. Because it again, when you're in a connection like this, it takes two to tango, and it's like when one person drops the rope, the other person feels starts to get triggered and angry and feels exposed, and that can be really challenging to get out of a relationship like that or a situation like that, because the person could then start to turn on you, and then it can get really ugly. So this could be why you haven't made any movement. Could be why things aren't moving forward. Again, let's apply. If this isn't your reading, click off. But if this is feeling resonant, again, just think about it. Like, what in your life is a pattern where you've been really attached to something that's not healthy for you, and you're like afraid to let it go, and yet you know that freedom is like on the other side of this. Yeah, even Ace of Cups. Whatever this situation is, to me it feels like an unhealthy relationship with a person who is very, I heard two-faced, but I don't know if that's accurate. Someone who's got like two sides. We've all got two sides. We all have a light side and a shadow side, right? But to me, this is feeling more like the type of relationship where if you're giving the person what they want, they'll treat you really well. But if you start putting boundaries and taking back your power, this type of person could turn on you very quickly and get very ugly, even abusive, verbally abusive, or worse. Scathing is the word that I just heard. Scathing. That's not a word I use, so look it up if you're not sure. Scathing. Very angry is what I'm hearing. Ooh, baby. Four of Cups reverse. But again, remember, when you are breaking, that could also be like personality disorder type of behavior, where someone could be dealing with some type of, like, I don't know. I had this like weird period in my life a long time ago where I had like a series of employers, and like all of them were on the like narcissistic spectrum. Like, we're actually like ex-convicts and people who were like super sketchy, and it was really weird for me because I had never really dealt with a person with an actual personality disorder, and when I did, I was like, oh, this is no fucking joke. So if that's like a factor, which unfortunately, because so many people are traumatized and never heal, they do end up with personality disorder sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, it does happen, and unfortunately, like, I don't like to use the word narcissist, for example, lightly, because there aren't as many as people think, but you could certainly have some really ugly tendencies that behaviorally, if you haven't healed some trauma, that can can present as, because when I hear the word scathing, that is scary to me, because it feels like somebody who could be ruthless when they're angry, vindictive, and very controlling. Yeah, I'm just getting like a whole feeling in my body. And again, 4 of Cups in the reverse to just, I pulled these 3. Knight of Wands reverse, Ace of Cups reverse. There's no love here. This is not love. And there's actually not, it almost feels like unhealthy, even sexual behavior could have been a factor. Could have been cheating, could have been like infidelity, or some type of like weird sexual energy, or lack thereof completely. Like no sex at all. I'm not sure. And then 4 of Cups reversed. You might have missed the opportunity in the past. Like you might have like stayed in a situation like this for a long time and missed an opportunity for more emotional fulfillment in the past, but it feels like that's not the case anymore. It's almost like you've realized. Remember, all those cards underneath the deck were upright. Then 10 of Cups, King of Cups, Empress upright, Death and World. It's like you've had a breakthrough and you're like, I'm not letting this shitty, whatever this is, like block my happiness. I will not allow it. I don't care how much it might disrupt this person's, like, because a dysfunctional relationship is like symbiotic. And it like feeds into, it's almost like the little infinity symbol, not in a good way, but it's like you're feeding each other off of each other's dysfunction and trauma and pain points and abandonment wounds and fears and insecurities. And when one person like starts to become more powerful and is like, oh, hold up, or maybe you're starting to like get more sober and you're like, because I remember this happening when I started to like, not necessarily romantic relationship, but just like in general in life, even in business, like I started to see things through different eyes. And when I was like really, and I wasn't a big drinker, but even since being sober, like, wow, you really see things differently. And behavior that you might have once tolerated, almost it becomes so repulsive. You're like, how did I ever tolerate this? But again, we all get there when we get there. So it feels like that to me. Someone's having a massive breakthrough about their deservedness and their worthiness to have, like, they deserve better. Probably this person, whoever this is, King of Cups, because this is all upside down and feeling really ick, and this underneath feels so much more positive that I'm like, probably somebody's having a massive awakening around the fact that they deserve love, and maybe there's been a lot of difficult patterns and things that you've had to work through, or like I said, addictions and codependency and things like that. But I feel like whoever this is under the deck is coming out of it. And good for you. That's great. Then we're getting advice that, yeah, look, Temperance in the reverse is the advice is, there is some additional emotional healing. Maybe that's why I was picking up in the beginning that sometimes the situation, if you're looking at it with just your bare eyes, you might think it doesn't look very emotionally balanced, or maybe these people don't look healthy, or this person doesn't look happy and balanced. But it's like there is a change happening. The change happens from inside out. So sometimes the inside change and the transformation it's like an alchemy, and it's happening even though the outside circumstances haven't fully changed yet. But remember that as within, so without, you have to have that internal shift first. So the advice is to keep going, like keep healing, keep doing the emotional healing. Let's just clarify that. But yeah, it feels like whatever you've been doing, whoever this person is, if this is you or someone that you're watching for, that you have in mind, like whatever they're doing, keep doing it, because it is working and it is bringing you, I'm seeing like this, how do I put it, the visual I'm getting, I get a lot of like images when I do readings, like bang, like clairvoyance. I see these like pictures and I'm seeing like a piece of, oh my God, do you guys remember Silly Putty? I don't know if you remember that, I'm kind of older, where you would like press it and it would like make, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it looks like you press it, it would hold the design of the newspaper or whatever it was, kind of gross. But anyways, I'm seeing Silly Putty and it's being pulled like this, and it feels like this situation is getting like this. And it's not quite done yet, but it's feeling like suddenly there's this repelling happening, almost like magnets, but it's not magnets because I think it's been so sticky that it's like pulling, it feels like I'm pulling myself out of glue. It's such a weird thing. I'm getting like a full feeling like I'm sticking in this like sticky substance, and it feels like that clay almost like pulling, but it's like I'm freeing myself from this. It feels like I'm detaching from this like mud, but it's not mud, it's like glue. That's how like sticky and difficult it feels to get out of this. And yet I'm just seeing the image of it being pulled apart to the point where it will just break, and then that's it. And it's not this close together, it's like here. That's what I'm seeing. So there's a little bit more to go of the full detaching, but just energetically, and emotionally, that's what feels like. It's like one day you wake up with people like this, because like I said, I had bosses like this that were like awful to deal with. However, I remember waking up, I remember this vividly with one woman that I worked for who was a fucking nightmare, but however, I woke up one morning like on a different side of the bed, and I suddenly had balls. Like I had this courage, this confidence that came over me because I realized I was being gaslit and mistreated and lied to, and just, it was crazy. I won't even get into it, but it was crazy town. You wouldn't even believe some of the stories if I told you. You wouldn't really think I was making it up. And I remember waking up that day, and it was like that image of the thing unsticking from each other. It was like I felt powerful suddenly, and then when I went in to match her shit energy towards me, and I was like, I just had this whole awakening, like, you know what? I don't need to put up with this. I don't care if she fires me. I don't care. I'm scared, but I'm doing it anyway because I trust that I will be taken care of. Because this situation is, like, what she was doing was, like, wrong. It was illegal. It was dishonest. It was everything. And I was just like, you know what? And guess what? Her business tanked, like, 6 months after this, and her karma came really quickly after. So karma has everybody's address. And I wasn't wishing for her downfall. I was just like, F this, I don't need to deal with this. And that was what happened. It was like one day I just saw it clearly. One day I just woke up and was like, what the fuck have I been dealing? Why am I putting up with this? I don't need this job. I don't need to, it wasn't even a bad job. I got paid well, but I was like, I don't need to put up with this behavior. And it just, the energetic shift that happened within me, it was only a couple of weeks later that she let me go. Whatever. So, and the job ended. It was really quick after that because it was like the change was so palpable. So that's what I'm feeling here. So whatever you're doing emotionally, it's working. If you're, like I said, if you're not, like maybe one of these people, like maybe this person, whoever it is like still drinking or still doing something else that's like they're not as lucid, and maybe like the other part of this, the other person is getting more lucid or is finally realizing, seeing things clearly. That's just what I'm feeling. Wow, that was a big download. Okay, I do want to clarify this temperance. I almost feel like I'm just going to be able to exhale, like, soon, but not quite. Okay, the advice, like, is, okay, it's like a double message. It's like, stop putting work into whatever this situation is. It's like you realizing, no more. I'm not putting any more work into this. Why am I continuing to try to make this work? It's not working. In fact, it's not good for me. It's not even about that you couldn't make it work. It's like, it's really unhealthy. And maybe this situation, whatever it is, has caused whoever this other person is, like a lot of health issues, emotional stress, mental fatigue, physical health issues. And like I said, it could have also been like addiction is an issue. I just am hearing that. So this is like, you're becoming clear. The advice is to like stop putting effort into things that are not in your highest good anymore. They're not serving you anymore. And also don't give up on the work that you will have to do emotionally, because there is some more emotional healing that has to happen. But the King of Cups, like I said, is not in a distorted energy. It's upright. I feel maybe this person is seeing and feeling things clearly, just could be still stuck a little bit in a situation. So let's just get one more there. 8 of Pentacles, that's what I'm feeling. I mean, this is so positive, you guys. Wow. And then we're getting the 4 of Wands upright as the advice. You want a happy home, for example, because I said wherever it was under here, the 10 of Cups. It's like if you want that happy home, you're creating it by doing the emotional healing, because whatever was emotionally imbalanced in the past would have led someone into a really unhealthy relationship. Again, we typically date someone that's like our parents, the most dysfunctional one, like the one that we needed the most love from and we didn't get it, or the one that like treated us the worst. A lot of times we'll end up in a relationship with a person with similar qualities because unconsciously we're trying to heal it, you know? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes people go for the complete opposite of their parent, like the dysfunctional one. They'll go for someone that's like the total opposite. But many times we go for the one that's similar because our nervous system is hardwired to go towards what feels familiar and comfortable, even if it's like painful and dysfunctional. So it's just healing, you know, it's feeling very positive, and it feels like, wow, yeah, Lovers upright. Go where the love is. Wow, Fool upright. You guys, wow, what a shift. And then the Tower. This is, and then clarity coming in. This is feeling like a very fast. What happened? Something shifted. Something majorly shifted. Woo. This is great. Yeah, someone's getting clarity about the foundation that they actually want, or the future that they want to create, the home they want to create, the relationship that they want or that you want. And this is taking the leap of faith. You're like, I'm going to throw the match and let it burn, kind of. Like, it's feeling like that's the vibe. Because it's like you're just ready. You may not be fully ready. It's like a lot. I feel this is like a really big deal. At the same time, I feel like you're so, whoever this is, you're so over it. You're like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. If I have to walk away with my underwear in a bag, I'm not saying literally, but like, you're ready to maybe be more of a minimalist than you have been, or maybe you're willing to walk away with your freedom as opposed to as much stuff, or maybe it doesn't have to do with the material stuff. Maybe it is just about being but look, these good people are getting thrown out of the Tower. They're getting ejected from the home, from this tower, from this structure. So there is this element of like freeing yourself. Also probably means, like I said, probably a relocation, probably needing to switch homes, or like go be somewhere else, or move, or whatever. So that's probably part of it. But like I said, they're both upright. It's feeling imminent. Like I said, I think in the next couple of months. 4 to 6. Look, we've got 4 to 6 months is what I just heard. 4 months is what? What's the date? It's February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, like between now and the end of the summer, probably big changes incoming. Like I said, it's not, whatever this attachment is, it feels like it's very close to the end, about to snap. But it's not a rubber band. You know, the image I got, like I said, was silly putty, which is like rubbery clay, kind of. So it's interesting that it's not a rubber band. There's no snapping backwards. You know, it's like once you break it off, that's it. That's it, man. Okay, so let's get 2 oracle cards. That's it, and it feels like a relief of a century. I don't even know how to explain it. Whatever this is going on over here, it's a lot. So let's get one of these gorgeous cards. Okay, this is the Goddess Within Oracle. Like I said, I'll have to use the book. Where are we at for time? Okay. We'll get one of these, and we'll get one of the masculine cards. These are kind of sticky because they're brand new. Ooh, she's beautiful. Oh my God, yes, Isis. One of my favorite goddesses, and look how many cards there are. Isis, it's like the Magdalene manuscript. They just had it over here, the sex magic of Isis. Isis is the Egyptian goddess counterpart to Osiris. Mystery schools of Isis. Isis is connected in with like Mary Magdalene, sacred sexuality. I don't know what the booklet says, but that's the feminine card. And then, so fun, I literally just moved the book. It's the Magdalene manuscript, the alchemies of Horus, and the sex magic of Isis. That's an energy that I've been working with for many years. What about the masculine? What other message do we need here? Okay, this says Janus, and it's like a younger man, Janus, a younger man and then an older man with a beard. Interesting. So I'll have to look at the book. Okay, so for the feminine, let's see what Isis says here. I'll have to put my glasses on. Wow, what a change though. Things have really shifted since the last couple of weeks. Okay, Isis. There's Mary Magdalene. Okay, it says, see the possibilities available to you when manifesting by balancing the art of co-creation and surrender. That feels so accurate. Let's go to the main message here. Isis's message, it said, there's a little info, but I won't read everything. It says, magic occurs in every moment. Each thought, word, and action provides you with an opportunity to wield your creative power. And remember, sexual energy is creative energy. You know, and that's why the Magdalene manuscript has 5 tantric meditations in there. And what you're doing is building the energy in your pelvic area, like in the sacral, your root chakra, your sacral, and through like breath of fire and deep belly breathing. And then you visualize the energy traveling, for example, up the central channel of your body to the different hemispheres of your brain, or up the back of your spine into the, basically like, almost like a snake over the top of your head. They're amazing. Tom Kenyon created all the meditations. So it says, life is like a quilted blanket made of many seemingly minuscule moments built upon each other to create a masterpiece. You don't need to see the bigger picture until after the creation is complete. You may not perceive how all the tiny moments correlate. You may never see from the vantage point of your human mind. Your job is to access the present moment and decide how you will use it for your future advantage and your current joy. You can unite free will and fate, not casting aside one for the other. Remember, free will is like the decisions that we make. Like fate would be like things that you're, for example, born into, like your gender, the country you're born in, your race, whatever. Free will, destiny, is something you choose. So there are certain things that you're born into, the karma that you're born into, right? And then there are things you can change. So it says you simultaneously hold feminine and masculine energies, light and dark, action and intuition, creation and surrender. Manifestation through co-creation is the most potent form of transformation. Your capacity to understand that you're co-creating with others and the universe is how you hold your power. Combining the art of surrender and creation is a powerful manifestation tool. When you make a decision, you then surrender to the decisions of others involved in what emerges from the co-creation. Once the decisions have been made in unison and everything settles as a result, you can spring back into action. Manifestation requires the skills of both actively creating and passively surrendering. This is surrender and creation in action, balancing the contributions of others and the universe with your plans. Move forward using your knowledge of co-creation to manifest your highest potential joy. Yeah, that feels very much like I said, I've been talking about this in latest readings with like the Magician card reversed, where it's like, there is this element to creating what you desire that you do have to sometimes take action, and then sometimes you really need to lean back and surrender certain parts of how it's going to come into form, right? There's only so much that you can do. You don't need to like micromanage every step of it. So that, and I do feel strongly that that's also saying to use your sexual energy wisely. Interesting that I got that card about, because when you see the Knight of Wands upright, it can be very reckless, passionate, but like impulsive, misdirecting your sexual energy, misusing it. Like there's a vow, like I took the refuge vows in Buddhism, and one of them is like around sexual misconduct. And like we all know better, but it really is about what are you, like when you because your sexual energy is so powerful, obviously you can create a whole life with it. But if you misuse your sexual energy, it can create so much negative karma, like so many repercussions, so much shit can come from that. And it's really to use that energy with the clear intention, with love, and beware, because when you misuse it, like it will come back to bite you. I know, because I've been there and done that, you know what I mean? And I paid the price. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. Just being smart, you know. But it was interesting that I heard sexual deviancy or something around that over here, because this is about no longer, it's like, I don't want to be a player no more. Yeah, maybe somebody's over it. And so, amen to that. A lot of us are over our hoe phase, you know. Been there, done that too, and it's like, it's not hot. As you get older, it's just not it. It's actually sad when you It's sad because it's sad. There's nothing sadder, I think, than an aging player, woman or man, you know, because there's such a fear of intimacy and there's such a fear of like loving and committing and letting someone in. Because I mean, if you've never had a commitment that didn't feel smothering and controlling and like strangulation and like that you couldn't be free to be who you are, then of course you're going to be afraid of commitment. Of course you're going to be like, ew, yuck, no, I want to be a playboy. I want to be a playgirl. I want to run around and be wild and be free. But like you can feel free in a relationship with a person that doesn't strangle you. You just have to find the right person, because not everybody wants to keep you on a noose or strangle the life out of you or expect you to be somebody that you're not. That doesn't mean you're not going to be respectful. It's like a toddler. If you say to someone, you can't do that, then they want to do it more. If you let people be free to run around and be wild, maybe you're not going to be with them when they're doing that. But I've been through this where it's like, if somebody really doesn't want to commit, well, number one, they're mirroring your own emotional unavailability and fears of intimacy, so learn your lesson. But also, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the book. I'm going out digressing a little, but this feels important. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the book by Neil Strauss. It's such a good book. It's called, I think it's called The Truth About Love. I read it a long time ago. It was like a white book that looked like a Bible, LOL. It was about all of his like sexual addictions and the really dysfunctional relationship that he had with his mother. And he really thought, I will never be able to commit to one person. I'm never going to be able to be monogamous. I'm never going to be faithful. I am who I am. I'm just a sex fiend and I just can't be tied down. As if like every relationship means you've got to feel tied down. You're not a fucking hog. You don't need to be tied down. But again, we have a lot of misconception about commitment and what it means. And most people aren't open-minded enough to let people figure it out, you know? So anyways, long story short, not to like ruin the book, but it is about this guy and he met a really amazing woman, but he felt like he wasn't ready for her and he was just sabotaging the relationship. And eventually she was like, you know what? Let's break up, because like, I don't want to make you feel like you have to be somebody that you're not to be with me. So if you want to run around in the streets or you want to be free to fuck 100 people, then you should go do that. I'm not going to be in a relationship with you while you're doing it, but if that's what you want and that's what you want to explore, you should explore it. And I'm going to go do my own thing. And if we meet up down the road, then it's meant to be. But she was like, it wasn't what she wanted. So she was like, that's okay. Now, I've lived through this too, and I can tell you for sure, let people live. You don't need to be in a relationship with them while they're doing that, but if somebody is truly adamant that they don't want to be in a monogamous relationship, stop trying to make people be where they're not. If they tell you they don't want that, believe them, and then run along, do your thing. Be like, you know what, go ahead and figure it out. If you decide that works for you, do it. If you never want to get married again, or you want to have sex with 10 people a week and you want to be with tons of people until you're 80 years old, that's your prerogative. Feel free. But most people discover when they go do that all they wanted was the freedom to choose. And once they feel free, they don't feel this compulsion to misbehave, or I hate to say misbehave, but you know what I mean? It's like when you tell a toddler, don't do that, what are they going to do? I have nieces, they're little. If you're like, don't touch that, what are they going to do? Immediately touch it. So there's a different way to approach it where it's like, let people feel free. That doesn't mean there's not boundaries. This is a fine line. You have to navigate it. It's like a dance. But I know that in my case, like the best thing that I could have ever done was say, go explore. Because if it's meant to be, I'm not a strangler. I just am more open-minded than that. I don't know. Monogamy is like a weird thing. I am very much I think it's very special, and I think it's hot to be devoted to something because it's hard, but you shouldn't feel like strangled. Like, I took Buddhist vows. Like, who the fuck wants to do that? A lot of people don't want to take it. Like, don't tell me what to do. I don't want rules. Whereas I was like, I like the burn of committing, because the more you're committed to something, the more profound it is, the deeper you can go, the more rich for me personally in my life, whether this be friendships, romance, my spiritual practice, all the time I'm intense. So I'm like, I want to go as deep as I can go. And if that's what I want, then I have to be all in. But I do think it's a challenge for people that have had a lot of dysfunctional relationships, like in intimacy issues, where they don't want to be told what to do. But again, if you've never been in a relationship where you feel free, like it was like if someone's like, don't eat cookies, or you put yourself on a restrictive diet, all you want to do is eat sugar. But if you're like, eat sugar, and then you can have as much sugar as you want, maybe in a month or 6 months, you're like, I feel kind of grossed out. Like, I don't know, I ate all the sugar and it just doesn't have the same appeal anymore. Maybe I don't need to eat sugar all the time. And then maybe you just stop eating it all the time. It's not this like big thing, like, don't do it, like, bleh. So is it easy? No, it's like being in a polyamorous relationship, which, like I said, I've never done that, but I've definitely been in a more open relationship, and I didn't like it, but I also learned a lot. So I felt like it helped me look at my shadow stuff, like jealousy and insecurities and things like that. And now I'm just in a different place. And it's like devotion is something that to me is like very profound and special, but I think that you can absolutely feel free with another person, and then it's appealing to be with them in that place. It's exposing, it's more vulnerable. Yes, you're at more risk to get hurt because you're going all in. At the same time, it's like so much more special than most people will ever experience, because most people don't have the courage to go all in. So it's just one of those things, you know? I don't know. That's been my personal experience, and it's been very challenging. And also I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Like, nothing shocks me anymore. So I'm like, I just wouldn't ever want to pressure someone. People don't understand this. Most people can't sit in the discomfort of like, for example, in the book where she had to let Neil leave. She was like, I'm going to let you go because I love you and I don't want to control you, and I don't want you to be who you're not, to be with me. If we meet later, if we meet again, then fine. Well, and if she was like, if I'm available and you decide that you do want to be with me and you really just want to be with me, but it feels genuine for you, then come back. And if I'm available, then we'll talk about it. And if I'm not, it wasn't meant to be. And so he had to go live his life. She was living her life, and down the road they reconnected. But he had to go through this whole healing and purge and like his mother issue. And if you have a mom who's like really attached to you in a way that's inappropriate and icky as a kid, or you were just too much in her business or too much in her emotional stuff and she was very unstable, like, yeah, you're gonna not want intimacy with women because it's gonna feel gross. Emotional intimacy and that closeness will feel icky instead of like a good thing. But again, people have to learn, right? It's not even about being right and wrong. I literally don't care. I'm like, if you want to have an open relationship and it works for you, live your best life. It's not what I want, but like I tried it and I was like, nah. But maybe when you're younger, it's fine. Or maybe like you reach a phase in your life where you don't want to be in a fully committed relationship and you're like, I'm just going to explore this for a little while. It's all good, whatever. But you got to be on the same page, like when you get together, you know, you want to be on the same page and it has to be genuine. But I do think there's a learning curve when you're coming from that really constricted, like I said, if you're in a relationship with a person like this Queen of Swords reversed, where you feel literally like you're hanging from the noose, like of course you're going to be like, fuck commitment. I don't want to be in a committed relationship. But trust me, everybody's not like that. So I went on a bit of a tangent, but that's okay. 333 on the clock though. So let's see what this Janus card is. I like that it's like a young man and then an older man. I wonder what this is about. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I just did it. Okay, I opened right to it. It says, you carry your past and future selves within. You are the healer for the past version of you, and your future self is the spirit guide for the current you. Feel that love through time and space. Interesting. That's a Roman myth. It says, speaks of Janus as the god of beginnings, associated with doorways, life, and death, past, present, and future. He's the offspring of the influential god Apollo, has two faces, one facing left and one facing right, allowing him to see into the past and into the future. Transition and change that's available through progress. Okay. So it says, in the darkest moments, when the brunt of the loneliness of being human in a world that can be brutal is felt, know you're never truly alone. It says, the fallacy of time can lead to feeling limited and deep-seated loneliness. Surrounding yourself with the loving, nourishing care found through support systems and romantic and platonic relationships is great. However, remember that you also have yourself. Every time a memory surfaces, the present version of you envelops the past version of you in active memory. If the thought of this memory has occurred 15 times over the years, all these versions of you hold a different perspective and emotion while remembering. So it's basically saying, forgive your past selves for not knowing what you know now. Yeah, you did your best with the information held then. The choices you made did serve a purpose. Change current habits to implement timeline shifts, resulting in an altering of your future. Do something today to make your past self feel secure and set up your future for success. That's what I was getting in the beginning. Remember, I was like, I feel like this person, there's been a shift, an emotional healing happening. But to create a new future, you have to forgive your past self. You have to have love and compassion for who you used to be. I think back to who I was in my 20s or in my 30s, and I'm like, God, I was a really good person, but I definitely had issues, And I think back at some of the choices that I made, and I'm embarrassed about some of them, and not anymore. I'm just like, who cares? Like, it was part of my journey. Just like I said, if there was sexual deviancy, addiction, other types of issues, it was part of the journey. It's been a big part of my healing, is sexual healing in my life with people, myself, with partners and stuff like that. So I'm very open-minded because I've really experienced the whole thing, everything. I'm like, you throw it at me, I probably tried it and experienced it. So it doesn't weird me out, and I don't judge anymore, really. I mean, of course we all have our moments, but for the most part, I'm like, whatever. We've got to find out, usually we've got to experience it to know it. We've got to go through it. And you don't have to carry that with you as your identity. If you feel ashamed, or if you're like, yuck, who I used to be is not who I am, and I don't resonate with that version, and I feel shame about it. Shame is not useful, Intelligent regret, like the Buddhists say. Look at it, be like, okay, I did that thing, it hurt me or it hurt other people. Let me stop doing that. What's the antidote to it? Okay, what can I do instead of that? Okay, let me feed my mind that thought. The antidote, Purge it, purify it, but also you can remedy it. So it says, when you reminisce, you provide that old version of yourself with validation of experiences and love for everything. So it says, reach out to the past and the future to facilitate healing and change. Returning to past events and working through unmoved emotions will shift perspectives and bring healing. Working with future versions of yourself is a reminder that there's a you that's already done it. Tap into the understanding that the vision you strive to achieve already exists within a wise version of yourself, and that version of you will appreciate all the steps that you're taking for them in this phase. I love that, because there is actually a Buddhist meditation practice around connecting with your enlightened self. So it's a specific visualization where like you envision your enlightened future self sitting like face to face with you, like knee to knee, and you're looking at them and you're asking your future enlightened self, like, guide me right now. Because there is a version of you that's already free. You may not know where that exists and what dimension, when it would happen, but it's like your higher self. So you connect with them in meditation with your future enlightened self. Instead of, for example, calling in Buddha, Yogananda, Jesus, God, whatever you believe in, angels, I don't know, your grandmother, whatever, like some enlightened being. Your grandmother. My grandma was the bomb, so I would definitely call her in. You call in your future enlightened self, and you allow that version of you to guide you in that moment. It's very powerful. So those are the messages. I went a little long in this one because I was doing a little storytelling, but I hope that resonated with you guys, with someone or some of you out there who needed to hear that. And like I said, if sexual healing, because Isis came through as the feminine card, which is the card about sexual healing too, for me. If that's a part of your journey, like, oh, it is not easy, but wow, I think back and I'm like so grateful. Actually, I went through certain things. I don't have to wonder. I know I made it through to the other side. I allowed other people to learn what they needed to learn. I didn't interfere, in the process. It doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of emotional struggles and there wasn't pain or anger or jealousy or anything else, like definitely, but it's all forgivable, purifiable, like it's part of our growth. And intimacy is worth the real intimacy, deep intimacy. For me, that's not true for everybody, but that my high value is that. Therefore, like I said, it has to be genuine on both people's sides. You both have to want that, but it is so worth it. And like anything, pretty much, like you can forgive. It's okay. It's what's in the past is in the past, and it would make you who you are today. And some people have to go through those really dark periods. They wouldn't be able to come through and be a more evolved version of themselves with that awareness if they hadn't gone through it, or if you hadn't gone through it with them. So yeah, I'm here for the sexual healing part of this. Feels really positive, you guys. I feel big changes coming in the next couple of months. I hope that this served you. If you want, okay, so like I said, I'm putting the coupon codes for both of these gorgeous decks. They are beautiful. Like I said, the cards are just so, like, the imagery is like rich and so nice. I can't wait to explore these. That's the masculine one. So I'll put the coupon codes here if you guys want to support Christabel. And if you want to book a reading with me, I've got clarity sessions, 60 minutes available. And then I've got 2 mentorship offers right now for men and women, the devoted masculine and the devoted feminine, around creating conscious partnership and sacred sexual union. So I love that Isis showed up here because that's part of the work that I do. All right. Love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Take care.